E aqui estamos, pessoal, para mais um vídeo aqui no canal. No vídeo de hoje eu vou fazer um vídeo um pouquinho diferente do que eu costumo fazer. Na verdade, uma coisa que eu não sou muito de fazer, que é um vídeo react, né? Mas assim, como eu sou muito fã da Relic, dos jogos deles, e muito fã do Warhammer 40,000, e recentemente saiu o trailer e um pouco de gameplay do Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War 4. Eu vou reagir ao trailer e um pouco de gameplay do que eu encontrei aqui no próprio YouTube. Então é isso. Vamos ver aqui o trailer oficial na página do Warhammer. Saiu há 2 dias, mais ou menos, 2 dias. E a gente vai ver junto como que tá esse trailer. Depois eu vou ver um pouquinho de gameplay pelo Lionheart Extend, que é um youtuber que eu já sigo já há algum tempo por causa do Total War. Eu gosto bastante dele. E a gente vai ver, ele jogou e a gente vai ver por ele. E qualquer coisa, o link do canal dele vou deixar na descrição para evitar qualquer tipo de problema. Uma coisa que eu quero ter problema com usar conteúdo dos outros, mas é porque eu não tenho outra opção mesmo, velho. Senão eu usava outro jeito. E se puder deixar aquele like bom, sabe, para ajudar o canal. E se você não é inscrito, se inscrever ajuda sempre. Vamos lá, simbora ver como que tá.
Peggy 18. We have fought the enemies of humanity across 1,000 worlds. No respite, no remorse, no mercy. We are the wrath of the Emperor, his angels of death. But the Imperium lies broken, its armies scattered and reeling. Our foes rise to drag us down, and the galaxy has been torn asunder. On the world of Kronos, we make our stand. We are the Blood Ravens. There is no victory to claim here, only vengeance to enact. Whilst even one of us lives, we fight. For only in death does duty end.
Uau! Eu vou dizer assim que... Deixa eu botar aqui umas pausas, velho. Caraca, velho, tá incrível o trailer assim. E eu gostei, uma coisa que eles botaram um pouco de gameplay ali junto, velho, né? A cinemática é sempre muito bonita, sempre compra qualquer um, ainda mais um fã de Warhammer, velho. Vendo isso aqui, velho, já é money, dinheiro fácil, velho. Mas, né, eu joguei o Dawn of War 3 e não gostei muito não. Não que ele seja ruim, mano. Ele não é um jogo ruim, Dawn of War 3, mas ele, sei lá, velho, eu acho que eu preferia mais uma pegada old school, sabe? Mais os antigos. Mas pelo que eu vi aqui, tá muito bom. E essas gameplay que eles botaram aqui no final, cara, olhando essa screen, velho, isso aqui me lembra muito Total War, velho. No Warhammer Dawn of War não tem essas cartas de unidades. Eles não nos antigos. E me lembra muito Total War, isso aqui é coisa de Total War, velho. Deve ser porque eles devem ter usado, sei lá, deve ser influência do Warhammer, do Total War Warhammer. Mas é muito Total War isso aqui de ter as cartas. Ele traz uma visão assim muito do 3, né? Não é um produto final, tá? Com a qualidade final. Vamos ver, né? Mas assim, ó, tipo, tá muito bom, velho. As animações tá muito da hora, velho. Muito da hora as animações. Olha isso aqui, velho. Isso aqui, nossa, isso aqui traz uma coisa muito doida, velho. Deixa eu ver se eu consigo pausar aqui, velho. O mapa tá muito bem construído, cheio de detalhes, cheio de coisa nos orcs. Aqui são uns bichos que vivem mais nas montanhas e colinas e coisas assim. Muito doido, velho. Cara, muito legal, velho. Uau! O Warg é foda. Cara, tá muito tri, velho. Muito bonito. Aqui essas animações, velho, do Renault. Olha que da hora. Muito bonito, velho. Bom, eu gostei bastante do trailer. Nossa, eu pensei que o 3 ia ser o final da série Dawn of War. Bom que eu me enganei, né? Porque não foi muito bom, né? Vamos ver o vídeo do Lionheart X10. Mais uma vez eu vou deixar o link do canal dele, do vídeo dele na descrição. Porque ele jogou o jogo, né? Vamos ver como que é. Vou dar um pulinho aqui,
play some pre-alpha game and same kind of storyline of Dawn of War 1, specifically Dark Crusade. Welcome everyone, Lionheart here, and today we're going to be talking about Dawn of War 4, which, disclaimer, I have actually had an opportunity to play some pre-alpha gameplay. What you're going to be seeing on screen right now is some B-roll footage that I was sent by the developers King Art Games for Dawn of War 4, which is just kind of showing you a bit of a montage of some moments from Dawn of War 4. I wasn't able to record the pre-alpha build that I was given, kind of restrictions on that. It was still very much reflected that it is very much a work in progress, it's still in development, but today I'm just going to go through some of the key briefing information that they've given us to kind of talk about the game, what to expect from it, and then I'm going to share my thoughts and impressions so far on the mission that I got to play.
Cara, olha isso aqui, velho. Isso aqui é dos orcs, velho. É que não dá pra ver muito direito, velho. Ou é da Guarda Imperial, velho. Isso é muita coisa de orc, cheio de coisa, mas parece ser da Guarda Imperial, eu não sei, velho. Não dá pra ver direito.
From the preview build of Dawn of War 4, which is also being shown off at Gamescom right now.
Nossa, velho. Que da hora. Nossa. Guarda Imperial. Muito doido.
So, yeah, Dawn of War 4, it's back. You know, it's really weird that they went from Dawn of War 2 straight to 4. Well, what happened to 3? Have to make the joke, I'm afraid. But I will say this, to clarify right from the start.
Cover. Ó, vamos ter sistema de cover agora. Caralho. Cara, eu sei uma coisa porque os Space Marines, né? Eles não precisam de cover, porque eles são o cover, né? Eles são uma armadura, basicamente um tanque de guerra ambulante. Mas pegar um coverzinho assim na baixa não vai ser uma coisa tão
This is not a follow-on from Dawn of War 3. This is not a follow-on from Dawn of War 2. This is very much going back to the classic Dawn of War 1 formula. And it is, I would say it's probably more like Dawn of War 1 2.0, spiritual successor to everything that made that first game great, and it's even...
Questão de, ó, eu te falar, questão de level design, cenário, tá incrível, velho, tá muito detalhe.
Set within that same universe and same kind of storyline of Dawn of War 1.
será, eu fico aqui pensando, será que a campanha desse jogo vai ser como nos dos primeiros, onde você vai ter um mapa tático, estilo mais ou menos assim um Total War, para se dizer assim, um mapa tático com outros planetas, e você vai fazer um Conquest? Ou eles vão seguir uma história assim, né?
One, specifically
Mais
Dark
linear.
Crusade. The events take place about 2 years after Dawn of War, Dark Crusade on the planet Cronus, and we'll see some of the characters, Gorguts and the Scout Sniper Cyrus back as some of the commanders that you'll command in Dawn of War 4. So yeah, it's being developed by King Art Games, so it's not by Relic anymore. So yeah, the IP has gone from Relic and it's over to King Art Games, who previously made Iron Harvest, which I've not actually played, but I've heard a lot of really positive things about it.
Véio, não é mais pela Relic, ó. Então a gente já pode esperar alguma coisa diferente aí.
Apparently it was quite niche, but broadly very positive reception to that game, and it's certainly something that I will probably check out between now and Dawn of War 4's release. Kind of see, you know, what to expect, if there's any inspiration taken from their work that they did with Iron Harvest. It is due out next year, 2026. No specific date within 2026, just next year at some point. Place your best guess in the comment section right now when you think it might come out. I reckon it's probably going to be in Q3, maybe early Q4 of 2026. I'll be surprised if it comes out early 2026, just based on the pre-alpha build that I got to play, which fair enough could be a couple of months old at this point anyway. But just based on where they're at with that, there's still a fair amount of work for them to do. They've got kind of all the core gameplay mechanics locked down, but obviously huge amount of balancing, performance stuff to do, you know, additional modeling and texturing and things like that for them to work on as well. It's being built in Unity as well, which is, I don't know what engine Dawn of War 1, 2 and 3 were actually made in, or if it changed.
Nossa, o jogo tá fazendo na Unity, que pra mim é uma coisa muito boa, velho. Eu não gosto da Unreal Engine, particularmente, né, por causa que os jogos ficam muito pesados na Unreal Engine. Pra mim, principalmente, que, né, meu PC não é o PC de última geração, um dos melhores. E na Unreal Engine, qualquer jogo, o jogo mais bagaceiro é muito pesado, velho. Então, saber que eles não estão fazendo na Unity já dá um alívio maior. Mas não significa que o jogo não vai ser pesadinho, né? Mas até lá, quem sabe até lá eu já tenho a placa de vídeo, então... Ele só vai lançar em 2026, pelo que ele falou ali, né? Se a gente tiver com um pouco de sorte no começo do ano, ou mais pro meio, mas enfim, né? Bom, mas 2026 logo tá aí, então...
Across those.
Só de saber que eles já estão trabalhando, que eles estão fazendo, que isso aqui já tem gameplay, que já é um jogo, cara, tá incrível, tá bonito. E por enquanto, tudo que eu tô vendo tá lindo. Eu não sei, acho que a minha opinião não conta, porque eu sou fã, velho. Então, eu não tenho como eu não gostar.
Certainly interesting to see it in Unity for Dawn of War 4, although I will say that does make a lot of sense because of the high fidelity of the models that I saw from the preview build. They all looked really stunning, really great effects that were in there right now as well, and the animations and kind of fluidity of units. It was very, very smooth, very well animated. And speaking of which, that probably brings us over to one of potentially the most exciting things that they're bringing into the series with Dawn of War 4, which is their sync kill system, which, if I remember correctly from the briefing that we got before we got a chance to play the game, it is that every single melee unit in the game can sync kill in melee another unit. So I don't know how many different permutations or combinations that means that there is, but every single melee unit.
Fique imaginando o que dá pra fazer com isso, com mods, velho. Usando mods, vai dar pra fazer loucuras nesse jogo, velho.
Has a synced kill sequence that it will go through. I don't necessarily believe that it means it. I don't know if it triggers every single time that they kill, but it means that there is the capacity there for every single melee engagement to look pretty darn spectacular. Certainly some of the B-roll that we've been sent has some pretty cool animations with dreadnoughts squishing and crushing lots of different units. Certainly, you know, the different vehicles and mechanical monstrosities duking it out with one another, and triggering all kinds of really cool animations. So they've spent a lot of time in the design creating all those animations, so that it really brings to life that gore and grimdark nature of warfare in Warhammer 40k. There are going to be about 70 plus missions across the campaign that you'll be able to play solo or with a friend, and it's in a story that's been crafted by Black Library legendary author John French, for those familiar with his other works.
ADS.
And there'll be 4 playable factions at launch: Space Marines, Necrons, Orks, and for the first time in Dawn of War, the Adeptus Mechanicus, which will be really interesting to see, you know, all the creations that they have to unleash in the field. Plus, something I'm quite excited for is that on day 1, for release, Last Stand mode from Dawn of War 2 will be back in, which I really enjoyed. Really enjoyed that Last Stand kind of wave defense mode that they added in with that, so that was a lot of fun. There'll be skirmishes, and there'll also be multiplayer modes as well. So yeah, four main factions, 4 story campaigns with a total of 70 missions across those 4 campaigns, 10 plus playable commanders, over 110 units and buildings, many of which have customizations. And in fact, that's one thing I'll talk about a little bit more in my kind of impressions of the preview gameplay and the pre-alpha build I got. The way you could customize your squads was actually really enjoyable, and quite rapid to quickly switch loadouts for your squads. Multiplayer and co-op, Last Stand. They're aiming for 30 skirmish missions and 30 multiplayer maps, and also an in-game editor for player-created content. So they're looking to support, you know, custom maps. I don't know how much further in terms of modding they're looking to go, but it'll be interesting to see that, because obviously, certainly with Dawn of War 1 and the Definitive Edition that has just recently released, that's kind of a big part of what they're focusing on with the Definitive Edition is allowing modders to kind of continue supporting the game for years and years to come. And there's also an army painter tool for unit customization, so you can set up your armies, your Space Marines, however you want, and potentially even reflect your own perhaps custom factions or chapters that you've got for your own tabletop models and things like that. So yeah, so Space Marines, Orks, Necrons, and the Adeptus Mechanicus are all in as the launch factions. Imperial Guard were present in the skirmish mission that I played in the pre-alpha, but you were supporting them. They weren't playable, so I would imagine perhaps that's going to be probably a common theme for the Space Marines throughout their campaign. You'll be supporting guards or saving guardsmen. You know, the standard narrative. The guard are in trouble. Send in the Space Marines, save their butts. They're doing a great job. They're doing a great job. But yeah, I will be very surprised if we don't get playable Imperial Guard at some point in Dawn of War 4's lifespan. I imagine it's going to be DLC. You know, also thinking, you know, if this is set Dark Crusade, for that we had Eldar playable in Dark Crusade. Did we have? I think we had Tau on Dark Crusade as well, right? Okay. So there were quite a few more factions that they potentially could look to add in, and obviously we've in Dawn of War 2 encountered Tyranids, so it'd be interesting to see if perhaps they show up as well into the mix.
Isso, questão de facção, isso não é nenhum problema, porque se o jogo for bom, a gameplay for boa, a campanha for boa, se o jogo, no geral, ele ir bem, tudo vai vir com DLC depois, se você vai ter que desembolsar para comprar, botar DLC tal, DLC do caos, DLC, tudo vai vir com DLC, velho. Você pode ter certeza disso, que eles vão farmar dinheiro nesse jogo o máximo que eles puder com DLC para trazer facções e conteúdo extra.
What's your favorite faction that isn't currently in Dawn of War 4 or announced for Dawn of War 4 that you would like to see at some point appearing on Cronus? let me know. I said, yeah, story is being written by John French. So everything I've heard about that is that it should be quite an exciting, spectacular story.
Volta ali, volta ali, volta ali. Eu consigo pegar.
John French. So everything I've heard about that is that
aquele tanque que eu pensei que era dos Orks e realmente é dos Orks, ó. Gigantão com um bicho em cima, é tipo um negócio de sucata que eles
should be
montam.
quite an exciting.
Muito da hora, velho. Muito tri, velho. Muito bonito, velho. Tá muito foda.
Spectacular storyline for the campaigns, and I believe that there'll be all sort of interwoven some of the events happening at similar times and different times within the kind of overarching story narrative, and you'll play different perspectives of that across the different campaigns. It's going to include CGI intros and fully animated cutscenes. King Art Games are aiming for a classic Dawn of War gameplay return with Dawn of War 4, and they've been designing their combat system to kind of reflect everything that was loved about the original game, but obviously update it and make it even more bloodthirsty in 40k and grim dark. So again, all those that sync kill system for sync melee kills and the way that units fight in kind of sync combat animations, which look pretty darn slick. That'll be really interesting to see all of that in crazy rich detail. Anyway, now time to just kind of share my final thoughts and reflections on the pre-alpha build that I got a chance to play. As I said, it is being shown off at Gamescom. I think it's behind closed doors, but I don't know if that's something people can queue up for and then go in and play, what have you, or if it's just going to be shown to various kind of press, creators, streamers, medias, and what have you there. So there'll be more people talking about that in the coming days and weeks. It'll be interesting to see, you know, what their next major announcements are. But obviously they've kicked things off with a bang with the announce. So yeah, honestly, initially I was very, very blown away. It looked great, and hopefully that's shown off in the B-roll. See some of the animation.
O negócio foi a portas fechadas, ó. Era só uma parcela de gente que eles escolheram pra testar o jogo, velho.
Playing and all the various characters and units all fighting out over the map. I think there's also some of the animated scenes on there as well that they included in this B-roll. But yeah, the scope and scale felt big, and it felt intense as well. Like obviously it was a very, very scripted mission. The AI was pretty relentless at pressing the Imperial Guard and your positions. If you took one, they were instantly jumping on you. There was a really cool moment within it as well, that when you advanced up, sort of probably midway through the map, it triggered a secondary objective, which was to rush the Orc position, because they were building 3 Gorkanauts, which if they get them up and running are obviously pretty nasty to face. So at that point I dropped in some Terminators, got myself a Dreadnought, and went on a munching spree of many an Orc. That was good fun. Did spend a lot of time zoomed in checking out the models, and they do look really good. It's a very nice kind of visual update, especially kind of recently playing the definitive edition. It's a solid graphical improvement, obviously, over a game that's 20 plus years old. But yeah, it's nice to see it updated, and hopefully, as you can see from the footage as well, it was pretty smooth for the most part. The performance wasn't amazing in the pre-alpha build, but it still gave a glimpse of what to kind of expect, and I think the B-roll does a really good job of showing off what it should be like once it's finished. But again, still early days, probably very little optimization and things like that. I'm really interested to see how its development goes graphically and with mechanics, especially with it being in Unity now. But yeah, gameplay felt really responsive. Didn't feel too arcadey or anything like that. Felt quite gritty and felt quite brutal as well. Like if you made a couple of mistakes with some of your positioning, you were sort of punished for that, and the game rewarded you for kind of using overwhelming force or trying to sort of flank positions, or using the right combination of units to counter what was coming at you. The customization of units.
War, né? Ele traz um pouquinho da vibe Total War, dos jogos da Total War. Dá pra sentir nisso, mas eu assim, o que eu tô vendo, tô gostando.
I want to mention that. So got my assault intercessors straight away. They had an upgrade for jump packs, and you could also then choose if you wanted to equip them with a power sword or a thunder hammer for one of their units. So went in and played around with that, and then instantly, obviously, you get the jump pack attack. The animations and again sequencing of the attacks with their jump packs was really great. A lot of disruption, sending units flying everywhere. Instantly kind of.
Eu vou parar o vídeo por aqui, velho. Eu não vou continuar, porque ele só tá falando a opinião dele aqui sobre o que ele jogou. Basicamente ele jogou, só que ele não pode mostrar assim, não pode mostrar o que, né? O que ele jogou lá, só algumas coisas aqui que ele já tá, que ele pode comentar e ele já tá disponível para mostrar. Mas enfim, o jogo tá em desenvolvimento ainda, não tá pronto. Vai ficar lá pro 2026 mesmo. Eu gostei bastante. Tô com uma, vou dizer assim, não vou dizer com uma expectativa assim de balda, assim, uau, vai ser do caralho. Mas eu tô feliz que vai ter um novo Dawn of War. Já faz um tempão, nem pra ser bem sincero, eu nem me lembro quando lançou o do 3, velho. Ser bem sincero, de tão bom que foi, né? Eu acho que eu não gostei muito do 3, porque ele tem uma sensação que nem ele disse agora ali no final. Um bagulho meio arcade, né? E eu acho assim, eu gosto de jogar, eu gosto mais de imersão, sabe? Eu não ligo muito pro multiplayer, competitivo. Não sou muito jogar, gosto de campanha. Então pra mim, eu gosto de ter uma boa imersão na campanha, então um jogo arcade não é muito pra mim. Mas enfim, esse foi o anunciamento do Dawn of War, Warhammer 40,000, Dawn of War 4. Esse foi o meu react. Gostei do que vi. Tá tudo muito bonito, muito legal. Então é isso, velho. Deixa o like se você gostou do vídeo. Se inscreva se você não é inscrito. Ajuda a gente aí a crescer nesse mundinho chamado YouTube. Vou ficando por aqui. Obrigado por assistir. Valeu, falou. Fui.